got banned, definitely a smart ban.
Immediately.
I would have liked to seen it last time, but we do see, I mean, there's still a number of champs that will be very strong. We could see, now that we have first pick for Venatus, they don't have to ban Soraka. So we could see all the same bans as last time, except swap in the Urgot, and then also pick up first pick Soraka so that M5 doesn't get Soraka, because Soraka is just so absolutely devastating when you run a tanky team, and then also is a very safe support for someone like a sub to play.
So just as a nice little reminder, last game Venatus actually banned out Morgana, Shen, and Nocturne. So at least one of those are going to be made available now. Morgana actually going to be banned out as well. M5 went with the Ari Jackson TF bans last time. So go ahead and see if they decide to choose to swap any of that up as well. But yeah, last game M5 they did have first pick. They managed to just snag out the Urgot immediately. But not to say that Nocturne game 1 was a bad ban. It's absolutely a fantastic ban. Really fast in the jungle, can really be effective at getting those ganks once he hits 6 as well. So we'll see if there's any game change.
I'd probably ban Shen and then first pick Soraka. You could also ban Nocturne. That would be a safe ban as well.
Yeah, but it's even then, like a Shen pickup wouldn't be too bad either, to have that global presence, to have the shield, because you know that M5 they may want to go ahead and get aggressive. So shield in, taunt.
Twisted Fate also works. So
yeah.
You know, just a really aggressive champion. And we have seen M5, you know, use Twisted Fate a lot as well.
So Ari Jackson, that was M5's last ban last time. So now they're gonna have to go ahead and change up, see what they may make a ban very against whatever team comp they may be trying to pull off here. They could also ban the Shen. They could ban the Nocturne. They're gonna have to ban one of the two. Kog'Maw would also be an amazing ban as well. Alistar would also be pretty effective to boot. So we'll go ahead and see what they do. And then with the first pick of Venatus, they're I
would probably first pick Soraka, though. Yeah. I'm assuming we're probably going to restart.
I think that's a remake, because this happened last game.
Yeah. And so the Twisted Fate ban, we have seen M5 a lot of times run a really aggressive Twisted Fate, having you know, that kind of, I don't know, just great map control. I think we might not see M5. I mean, even if we didn't ban it, I don't know if we would see M5 run Twisted Fate, because a lot of that Twisted Fate play depends on having a strong top lane. And so Alex Ich going top and then Gosu Pepper going mid, you know, maybe doesn't allow them to play Twisted Fate, but we'll see. M5 just carrying on with it, so they don't mind that there's no ban, I guess. The Shen pickup and, you know, Nocturne, they could get Nocturne and Soraka.
Yeah, so I mean, well, if there was going to be a remake, now this would be the time it would happen, but I may not actually see it. And if a remake does happen, we'll just go ahead right back to the point where there's a little bit error there. But they could be, by all means, actually doing that intentionally as well. But for now, though, Shen, Nocturne, gonna see who else Alex Ich decides to pick up here. So it could be a lot of options. The Graves still available, Kog'Maw still available. Warwick top lane.
Yes, that's definitely interesting, but Warwick, you know, is a pretty safe lane against Shen.
Yep.
Shen usually can, you know, beat most lanes or match up well against most lanes. Warwick has a lot of regen and a lot of damage as well, so it is pretty even. But, you know, I don't know, Warwick, I'm not sure if he has enough damage output to out-harass Shen, and that might be the case. We'll have to see whether or not Alex can get the advantage in that top lane.
So
we could also see this as a Shen jungle, though. We have seen jungle Shen a lot recently, particularly against someone like Nocturne, who's going to want to be really aggressive. You see the Shen, you know, ultimate in as the counter gank.
Yeah. So, but once again, though, and it's we've seen this before in the past. Teams want to go ahead. They're on first pick. They want to get the Shen. They want to go ahead and secure it for themselves, and then realize that if they throw Shen top lane, they're going to get countered out ridiculously hard. So it's kind of like a last-second thing to just transition them to the jungle. But now with the Udyr pick, I think it's pretty solid now that Shen's going to be sticking around top lane. And Tristana for the bot lane, looking to get aggressive, looking for that damage.
Yeah, it's kind of a surprising play, and
yeah.
I'm not sure what their thoughts are on the Tristana pick. So Tristana, you know, has great late game presence, has really long attack range, and one of the concerns that they had last game was that Graves has 525 attacks. So compare that with Tristana, who has 700 attack late game, and so Graves, a lot of times in fights you saw, at the end, he couldn't really get up and deal as much damage as he needed to, not only because he was behind in farm, but also because their team was just so aggressive, and so Graves would be walking into a death trap. So Tristana has that range. The only issue is Tristana is laning against Corki and Tarek, and that's a devastating bottom lane. Tristana and Alistar, we have seen that some in the past. If that is actually the lane, I would love to see a support Teemo.
Ooh,
that would be interesting.
Support Teemo, you get the... See, now there's been a little bit of a post a while back. It's like, support Teemo, you just blind someone all day. You just sit in the bush, blind. They can't really do much. It is set, though, that Karthus will be in the mid. It's just a matter of finding the right support. I think Alistar
makes the most sense.
Alistar makes the most sense. It would fit the bill the most. A lot of CC coming into the team fights later on. There we go. So Karthus, Alistar, last two for Venatus. I like that Alistar pick. I like it a lot.
It's going to be tough, though. I mean, Tristana and Alistar is a pretty common lane. We've seen TSM actually run it a lot with Xpecial and Chaox. And so you have a lot of burst damage. You have that aggressive initiation. It's really just a strong lane all around. Unfortunately, if you are on the defensive, very quickly you could fall behind. Corki and Tarek is just so aggressive. They could, really abuse that bottom lane. So we'll have to see. It all comes down to how successfully Tristana can farm. But I really like this Karthus pick. And so Venatus, they know, the previous game, M5, they like running short-range kind of melee teams. They, and Karthus is like, okay, I want to really uber carry. Who carries harder than Vladimir? Karthus does. And, just having that AoE and having so much damage, he can, really just disrupt fights a lot. He will have the Shen ult as well. Unfortunately, M5 with the response goes to Pepper on Gragas. Gragas is a really well-known counter to Karthus. They will farm pretty safely early on, but then, Karthus is stationary. Gragas throws off his ultimate, can just instantly kill him. And then also ult him out of the fight. So, he'll be able to pick up the kills, but then also knock Karthus back, so you don't have this zombie Karthus sitting in the middle of you.
Well, Venatus, with their team comp, they're looking to get very up close and personal. There's a lot of melee or short range. There's a lot of melee and short range here from Venatus, and if Tristana wants to get a lot of her damage off, she does need to go rocket jump in and just start plugging away. And of course, you get the kill, you get the refresh as well. So everyone from Venatus is going to be a nice big clump, and that's asking for a Gragas ult. Just everyone that scatters, gets shredded away. Corki and Tarek together can just do whatever needs to be done, and that's just these are two monster kill lanes bot, because all the CC from Alistar is more than enough for Tristana to get a kill, but you got the combination true damage and armor shred bot lane for M5. That's, man. The jungle ganks are going to be needed to come in pretty quickly.
At the same time, we could see some really cool fights going on early in the game. If we see Nocturne bottom, once he hits 6,
yep.
It's already such an aggressive lane. We have the gank from Nocturne, then we follow it up with the teleport in from Shen, the ultimate from Karthus, and very quickly you see that Venatus, they have actually a pretty safe team. As far as, that kind of jungle pressure, the Warwick pick is nice because he can cancel that ultimate from Shen. So, that is kind of a threat for them there. And then also, maybe even just pick up kills. As the game progresses, Warwick is going to be so tanky. If he can shut down someone like Tristana, that'll be really nice. But yeah. Tristana, if it works out, one of the nice things about Tristana is she's one of the highest single-target DPS champions in the game, late game, but she doesn't really have, AoE when you compare with other champions. She has some with her rocket jump, but you're not going to rocket jump in the middle of a fight. But so she's just a high single-target DPS champion, so you want to pair her with large AoE, really high damage AP champions, and they have that in Karthus. Karthus can just control fights, and then Tristana tries to pick people off. We'll see how it works out for them. It's a really nice team overall. But M5, they with all the disables that they have, the pickoff potential, the initiation with both Gragas and Nocturne, it's just a really aggressive team. It's going to be pretty dangerous for Venatus.
Yeah, it's going to be dangerous. But if the game goes on a little while, if Venatus is not so shut down from farm, like game 1, so game 1 Urgot got a little bit out of control. Game 2, if Corki gets a little bit too out of control, that is just so much burst in team fights. That is just so much damage, and I think Corki in terms of damage, I think Corki, once he gets in the thick of things, may actually in a very similar farm level, may do a little bit more than Urgot can. But Urgot then game 1, remember, he was building full on damage. He was not doing his tanky thing.
Yeah, without a doubt, Corki
Yep.
does a hell of a lot more than Morgana, and just has all that AOE damage and poke and everything. It's going to be so much damage up front. And as long as Warwick and Nocturne can get into that tanky state in late game, they're going to have that tanky front line. Warwick, he did have his Q nerfed a little bit, so not as much regen and damage as it used to be late game, but it still is devastating. And so we'll see how that works out, but. I don't know. We had some nice play from Venatus. And Karthus, even though Gragas is a counter, Karthus will be able to farm pretty safely in that mid lane. Just sit back, use that long-range Q. He will need to worry about the Nocturne initiation with the Gragas barrel. So, Gragas body slamming towards Karthus, knocking him back. Really quickly will be able to pick up some kills if they're not careful.
Yep, so now loading on into the game. So the winner of this will actually move on to round of 16. Remember, M5 was penalized the game for the late appearance, but it's nothing that no team can actually come back from. Seen it before on the qualifiers. May very well see it again here. And hopefully it's just hopefully the lanes will be a little bit easier to farm for Venatus to give them a better chance in the bot lane. But here we are, final match. Let's do it. Here's Diamond Prox on the Nocturne. Was banned last game, but now we got it.
One thing that's really interesting is you look at M5's team, they actually have a really strong level 1 team. And you maybe wouldn't realize it originally, but they have a lot of AoE damage. The Gragas Barrel, not only does it do the AoE, but it also slows attack speed. And so when you have Corki's Phosphorus Bomb gives you vision, Nocturne has his quick AoE, and Gragas Barrel, and the stun from Taric, that's a lot of damage really quickly. And so they could maybe invade, even though it's an Alistar, Shen, and Udyr. It is, they do, Venatus has just a really understandably strong early game. But M5, if they caught them out of position, if they, got them all clumped up, they could pick off a kill really quickly because they have a lot of burst damage, but they're not going to. They're comfortable with sitting back. They recognize they don't want anyone to get picked off with any of the stuns, so Nocturne just going to get an early advantage. They don't want to give up any early advantages that maybe lose them the game. M5 starting off with the slight gold advantage, so that's actually Taric running utility masteries. I thought it was funny to note for a second. I was like, yeah, the game is in their favor already.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get your run. XX21 at the very least. You have the extra gold on your support. Get a little bit extra gold for some of those wards. And you realize, Alistar here, Fairy Charm 2 and 2 on the wards and the health potions. So it's there's going to be a little bit more aggression coming in from M5 after you start hitting the 5-minute mark, the 6-minute mark, when those first initial wards begin to expire, because Taric's got 2 more of those up on you. So that's going to allow them to stick in the bush a little bit while longer and allow them to impose their will, imposing aggression on the bot lane. And Alistar is going to become a little bit less effective in those first crucial minutes.
And one nice thing that I like, a couple of things. We see Taric and Corki picking up those wolves, so they actually have the farm advantage over Tristana and Alistar, because Tristana and Alistar didn't take the golems, which is pretty common, but Nocturne also starting with red instead of blue. And so, Udyr, he started off with the health, with the ward, maybe was looking to invade, won't have that opportunity, is actually just going to back off. They did ward their own red, and so usually when you ward your own red, it means that you're planning on doing an early invade and you don't want them to counter invade.
Right.
But regardless, both junglers are going to be pretty safe. So Alistar actually down a ward right now, but Nocturne going to be perfectly fine, and Alex Ich just being extremely aggressive off the bat. And there is just how much damage Warwick's passive has now, just able to chase him down. And so it's interesting to see. We have a little bit more spammability with Shen, but the damage, the 1v1 DPS is definitely in Warwick's favor.
Yeah, so once the farm gets a little bit higher, Shen can go ahead, buy some of those crucial health items that he needs. Could stay around a little bit longer, but for now, just has to stay, sustain, keep the health up. And remember, Warwick, every time he uses this Q, is going to be using a little bit more mana. Shen, energy base, he can stay around top lane for a little bit while longer to go ahead and try and catch up on some of the farm for when Alex eventually does have to go back, but that's not going to be for a while yet, though. So you still got some time.
And one interesting thing about the Tristana versus Corki matchup is late game Tristana has just such a severe late game range advantage. And Tristana's range late game it's 703. It's just so long. But early in the game, they actually have basically the same attack range. And so Tristana not able to use that attack range for a harass advantage. And so Corki is just in complete control of harass because even whenever they exchange damage, Corki gets a little bit of an advantage with the Phosphorus Bomb and can trade very easily. And so especially with that Taric, there's just the quick burst harass from Genja, able to quickly wear down Tristana.
And the unfortunate part about the bot lane though for Venatus is that Tristana, just based off pure abilities, when you do get your last hits, they do explode, you do a little bit extra damage to minions, and that's gonna in its own naturally gonna push the lane. But unfortunately, for the moment though, for the time being, that is not the case. They're actually being pushed pretty hard by Genja. Wall of Pain going down. Ghost of Pepper has no choice but to bust away. And but yeah, it's to see how Tristana naturally pushes. It's strange. It's strange to see Venatus in this position this early on.
Yeah, and so I mean we'll have to see. I mean a lot of it is just because Corki is so aggressive that Corki's naturally going to push into you. And early on, Tristana does push some, but it's not really that significant to just get full momentum in the waves. So it is generally pretty even. But you see, Genja has a stronger lane advantage, so he's naturally going to push. And Warwick top, Alex Itch just still doing a very effective job against Shen. Is very capable of just holding this lane very effectively, and then will have killing potential once he has level 6.
He did go back, did get a Null Magic Mantle, possibly going to be going put into the Merc Treads or even the Chalice of Harmony, just so he can go ahead and keep the mana up. But for the time being, though, he's just going to go ahead and headbutt Pulverize onto Genja. The stun from Taric in response going to keep Alistar still for a moment. Voxer's not going to be able to get a whole lot of harass damage off that. But every time you're coming in for those last hits, Genja's going to be there with an auto attack to help keep you low. And just right now, 26-37, once again, possibility for Genja to go ahead and just go completely crazy with the farm. Mid lane, Diamond procs, getting a little, looking for an opportunity, maybe going in mid, but decides not to. We'll go back into jungle. Let's take a look at the mid farm real quick, though. 30-40, mid getting the advantage early on. 27-36, all three lanes from M5 is actually starting to see quite a bit of a huge creep advantage in the working.
And so Tristana doing a decent job down bot, but again, Tristana and Alistar, you want to be such an aggressive lane. You want to, pick up, early kills and try and burst people down. And they're never going to be in that opportunity because of the early advantage for them there. Yeah, like you said, Gragas doing a nice job, in the mid, and we are starting to see that farm advantage for M5, but I don't know. I think that Karthus and the rest of their team, they should be pretty safe to hold it into the mid game and keep it really nice and even for those mid game fights. We do see Erdir Bot though going to try and get a gank in. He will be able to get the stun on Taric, maybe not on Corki most likely. We'll have the Valkyrie out of there, and so Taric actually with the stun, and now Tristana very close to going down. But we have the headbutt Pulverize, the exhaust as well onto Genja will force him out of there.
Gragas though. There comes a Karthus ult trying to get the extra damage, and there is the barrel. The ult is up for Ghost of Pepper, but Tristana might actually be able to get away from this one. There is Alistar, is your Pulverize head. Oh, Pulverize is just not up in time. First blood. Gragas wandering down the bot lane, gonna go ahead and grab it. Oh, and Tristana, what are you still doing out there? You gotta go back. You gotta go back to safety, please. There you go.
Yeah, it's a really nice play by M5, able to pick up that early advantage. Karthus, generally just wants to sit in lane and farm, and so we won't be able to see the same kind of map pressure that we saw last game with Vladimir roaming. Karthus, it's really difficult to roam as Karthus, and you put yourself in a vulnerable situation. You can get picked off in the river very easily because you lack mobility. So Karthus is going to want to sit down and farm, but that maybe means that he's not going to have as much pressure on bottom lane as he did last game. Won't be able to pick up early kills, and won't be able to help stabilize his team there. So we'll see if that results in them falling behind quickly. We do see, Alex Itch being extremely aggressive in this top lane and getting an early farm advantage off of it.
Yep. Top ward and top river did just expire, but there's still pretty good ward placement there in the bottom part of top river as well. So now might be around the time where Alex may want to go back, make a few purchases, pick up another ward, put it there in top river just to go ahead and prevent the ganks. Because right now, it's being pretty aggressive. 47-67, still looking to edge out in the farm game. But and mana is getting a little bit low, so it might be time to just go ahead, get back, reload, come on in. And even then, by the time Alex gets back to lane, Shen should not have caught up in farm by that point.
Yeah, we do see Gragas starting to take a farm advantage from actually stealing the Wraiths, and that's one of the nice things about Gragas. He's able to just farm very aggressively and push lanes very aggressively. So by pushing the lane against Karthus, Karthus can clear pretty easily with the blue, but there's still a slight push advantage for Gragas. He can then roam like we saw a second ago, try and pick up kills, or he can also go into the jungle, steal farm there, go and steal their wraiths, and very easily pick up a farm advantage. And we'll see, how that continues to work off building the quick Dorans. And so I was kind of wondering whether or not Karthus might start with, Gold Pretends. It is a pretty common build now. Gold Pretends are just so overall strong, will get you into that late game. But going for the quick Catalyst will be very nice. And actually, we have the engage from Nocturne. Diamond Proc's going to get the Sphere off onto Alistar. We will have this Alistar. He is going to go down. So they get the quick kill there. Unfortunately, he is not 6. And so, I don't know, we'll have to see. We will have a tanky Karthus with that Rod of Ages, but the quick advantage is going for M5.
And M5 seeing they just killed his support. The presence from bot lane is not at the greatest, so it's now a pretty good opportune time to grab the Dragon real quick, and Vox are just going to have to go ahead and try and deal with Genja. All the extra damage coming from Corki, plus the missile. Just Tristana really does not have a whole lot of say in this bot lane. 46 to 70, and there's Alex. You got the blood. You're pretty bloodthirsty. You're gonna go ahead and get the ult in, but there is Shen to help protect Tristan, and Alex is getting a little bit too overzealous. Terek's nearby, stun, and get a little bit of heal, and go be able to get back to safety.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he was able to outrun the Udyr there, but with the passive, the Blood Sign on, he was fine. We actually see Gragas going to be dueling with Karthus here a little bit. He will want to back off, but he has tons of damage if he can get it off. Unfortunately, we have the Shen taunt, and we have the follow-up with the Exhaust, and plenty of damage from Karthus. Won't have enough to pick him up, so Ghost Pepper just barely able to get out of there.
He's still got the barrel available to him as well, just as an absolute last resort, but for the time being, going to be able to get back to tower pretty safe. And also, not to mention, Warwick went back to base, picked up another Null Magic Mantle and a recurve bow. So you're going to be looking at Merc Treads and a Wit's End in the top lane. A lot of magic resist. Going to be preventing a lot of the damage coming in from Karthus and Udyr later on in the game as well.
And unfortunately, the issue right now is, even though Venatus isn't behind that far, all of the lanes from M5 can put on a lot of pressure and just start zoning you out and get that quick farm advantage. We do see the gank coming, though. We have Udyr, we have Karthus. We're going to have, actually, the headbutt, no, is not going to get off onto Tarek, so Tarek is able to get out of there.
And with that is now Gragas's Gragas's time to push is like, hey, your mid is bot. I'm going to go ahead and pressure this tower. The barrel just taking out all of the caster minions immediately. And it's still going to be a while for Karthus to come in and try and defend the mid, but by the time he comes back, your mid towers, you're already at half. Udyr and Karthus going to come on up. Nocturne's not too far away, though. He can go ahead and help out his big buddy.
Yeah, and so Karthus missing out on some golden experience there and really putting himself in a vulnerable situation. So he was safe going down in the bottom, but in the future, if we maybe catch him out, we actually see the barrel, so we're going to have a lot of burst damage. Ghost Pepper could maybe throw off the ultimate, but then he would probably go down to the zombie Karthus. So, right now it hasn't been an issue for Karthus, but if M5 ever catches Karthus, through a ward or catches him walking down to bottom, very quickly they could just pick him up in a kill because Karthus just has no survivability yet. So that's definitely something he wants to watch out for, but so far he's been doing a decent job. We do have a quick farm advantage, though, for Gragas because, being able to farm the Wraiths, and then when Karthus leaves the lane, it's just so easy for Gragas to push, and actually Alex Itch
coming in from behind, getting the ult onto Karthus to keep him still, and there is the ult, there's the barrel from Gragas, and that's all the damage he needed.
Alex is like, hey, Ghost Pepper, I know you're not good enough to hit the barrels on your own, so let me just help you out
Let me help you out.
Set up the easy, slam dunk for you, and so picking up that kill very easily, and that's one of the issues with Karthus is how little mobility you have.
Yeah, it's really, your only tool in situations like that, if you're being chased, you have the wall, and if the wall can only do so much. It can be flashed over, or you can just go ahead and walk around. But if you're in a situation like that, you're being pincered. The wall can only really help slow one person. But at that point, you're already taking so much damage. There's really no escape from that. And now that also speaks to how far ahead M5 is at this point in the game. They can afford to go ahead, leave lane, come behind tower for ganks like that. And a lot of their lead, a lot of M5's lead is just purely in farm.
Yeah, and with any early advantages, they can start putting on the pressure. And Shen has done very well so far, in that top lane, has stayed even and is farming very successfully. Karthus as well, but it is still a slight advantage. We have the Tarek stun onto Alistar, just a lot of quick burst damage. He will have to back off, and so he will be safe. But there's always the threat of the follow-up with Corki. And unfortunately, Tristana and Alistar can't be as aggressive as they want to be. So Tristana quickly falling behind on farm.
And Alex Itch, he's getting targeted here by Venatus. Shen sees him here in the top lane. Udir's on his way. Karthus is on his way. But you know what? So is Gragas. So is Nocturne. Nice little 3-on-3 party could be in the brewing up on top lane. Nocturne is not too far away, but ult is up. Ult going down from Alex onto Karthus, but is canceled out by the Shen taunt. Good on Mope there. But still, the pressure's continuing in M5. They're not all too far away. Diamond Prox is here with the ultimate. Gonna go ahead. We're gonna see the Udyr. Not gonna see the Karthus though. And there he is. There's the wall pain. Now they know the presence of Karthus. He is here. They're looking to steal the blue. They want to go ahead and steal the blue, but it's not the best situation for him. And Alex is still kind of isolated from the rest of the team. Their top lane. Quick taunt will get a quick turret shot, but that's not going to be doing all too much.
Yeah,
but still,
Nocturne
though,
actually still going in for it. He wants the blue.
He wants it. He's hungry for it.
If you can prevent Karthus from getting it, that's huge. And Udyr is pretty low mana right now, so they know that Udyr can't really fight this. Gragas coming around the backside actually misses the body slam. Otherwise, that might have been a dead Karthus. He actually throws off his ultimate there to pick up the blue. So, you know, Nocturne grabbing the blue. But Gragas, with the assist, will be able to pick up his own blue shortly.
Yeah, and they got what they wanted. It's like, we just wanted to steal your blue. We didn't really want any kills, and you go ahead and return back to their business.
Just doing a really nice job against Alex Ich in this top lane. I mean, Warwick has been able to farm pretty freely with the regen, but even so, Shen's able to put on some harass, able to put on some pressure, and we'll see. If that can translate to maybe a one lane later on.
Well, Alex's left lane quite often at this point, so that's allowed Mope to stay in lane, catch up a little bit on the farm, and now farm-wise it's pretty even. Gold-wise it's nearly even as well, but the thing is though, the story has to be said about the rest of the team. Tristana, about 3 gold total, and Corki has about 1,500 gold advantage on the enemy AD, and that's very similar to what happened game 1. And Ghost Pepper in the mid, Gragas about 5k in total, Karthus almost about to hit 4k. So while top lane maybe even bot and mid do tell a vastly different story, and that's going to translate into these fights later on. And those are exactly the characters you're going to see dominating as you go in. There comes a Q from Nocturne. He was hiding in the bush this whole time, and now they realize, man, you're in trouble. Nocturne going in, trying to finish off Tristana with the ult. Will still be able to get away, but there comes a Karthus ult. Tristana can keep the rest of M5 away, but it's not going to be doing a whole lot. There comes Shen ult down on Udyr. Does get the fear from Nocturne, but Shen is here to help, and everyone just leaves.
And so you saw, even with the range that Tristana has, once Tristana got into safety, was just scared the whole time. We do see Gragas catching up to Karthus here. We'll have to get out of there. But Tristana not able to get off any damage because she's just so scared of going down too early. And so, unfortunately, they can't get the damage they need to win these fights. And now Diamond Prox, with the Wriggles, they'll very easily be able to pick up this dragon. So a nice little farm advantage there.
I had no idea Gragas could actually just go over that wall, right over that. I'm still learning stuff. This wall, right here.
That does look a little bit large. Large.
Well, that can also be used to describe Gragas, but that's beside the point. But still, though, with another dragon under the belt, M5 is going to go ahead, return to their usual business. And bot mid tier 1's actually looking pretty low. Ghost Pepper could just straight out take it if he wants. He's actually going to go in a little bit extra harass on
If
Karthus.
he hits one barrel, then the ultimate is a free kill.
Oh, yeah.
He just keeps on missing the barrels.
There we go. There's got the charge, and you got the ultimate, and that is more than enough damage to just melt Karthus, absolutely. And then once Zombie Karthus is gone, just go ahead and get a few other auto attacks on the tower, and it is gone.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that's just how much damage Gragas has, and he does work very well against Karthus. Now he will be able to pick up that Rabadon's most likely. He's probably pretty close to finishing it.
Yeah,
there it is. So Rabadon's is done, and that's just so much damage output at this point in the game, even with the Rod of Ages on Karthus. Gragas is just going to be in complete control of every single fight that M5 is in, and we'll see how that kind of works out.
I do enjoy what Venatus is doing right now, though. You see that most of their members are just now stockpiling on wards. They realize, okay, we cannot win these team fights straight out, but if you can isolate members, you can go ahead and start doing what they did game 1, catching people off guard while the rest of the team is still scattered. But they were not in this much of a deficit game 1, though. This is a this is a vastly wider deficit than around this time last game. So
and the issue is Karthus. I mean, the deficit was made up for the fact that Vladimir was just destroying everyone. We actually have the quick body slam into the barrel. Warwick is here though. There's this ultimate.
Ouch.
Very quickly able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, Gragas is just too much of a beast, and Alex can just come on, he can sweep down, get a kill, return to top lane, and it's like nothing ever happened.
And like we said, oh wow, actually, so Tristana going to go down pretty quickly as well. Gets that rocket jump. Unfortunately, we had the quick follow-up. Alistar as well, though, going to go down. So M5 picking up 2 quick kills. And the big thing, the deficit last game was made up for the fact that Vladimir was just such a beast. We actually see Alex Itch maybe going to go down. Shen, can you do it? Pick up the kill. Your team needs it.
No,
he actually, if he pressures it, he could probably get him underneath the tower. But Warwick actually has enough distance now.
Yeah, he couldn't. Yeah, it's a little bit insurmountable at that point. But yeah, so game 1 worked a lot better for Venatus. But this point though, like we mentioned before, Shen top lane was actually doing pretty well to counteract the farm of Warwick, despite the fact that Warwick was leaving lane so often. But now, see how things have changed. It's now a 1K deficit as opposed to just a mere like 200-300. So all the assists, all the farm now from Warwick coming on in. Shen did have to help the rest of the team too with the ults, try to prevent bot lane from just absolutely melting. But Tristana's way too far behind. Karthus is way too far behind. 3 levels behind Gragas, this Karthus, and Tristana 2 levels behind the Corki, and Corki's just. Look at all. He's got the phage. We're gonna be looking to go into the Trinity Force, stacking all the Dorans, and soon he should actually just have the money to buy it straight out. Just like another 200. Another 200 and Genja
it's
can
like
just go.
1,500 actually. So
it's 1260 for the Sheen and 300
plus 375.
I thought it was just a flat 300.
I
think it's a flat.
No,
300.
you're right. It is a flat 300, but that's still 1,500.
Yeah, so he's 100. He's 100 more. So just a few more creeps, and you just go ahead and right back and buy it immediately. And then
I thought he was at 1,000. Oh, never mind. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so even then, who cares about the creeps? Just go ahead and get the kill on Alistar. There you go. That's all the goals you need. Now we can definitely get the Tree Force, and even then top lane. Also got Diamond Proxy getting in the kill onto Mobo, onto the Shen. Udyr could actually just die right here as well. All the tanking on the tower that's needed. There's Karthus to try and slow him down a little bit though, but Karthus, you're not as strong as you think you are, because here comes Gragas. There's the barrel. Does not get the kill on Udyr, but even then, you don't even need the ult to go ahead and get this kill on this Karthus. Ult's not going to be doing all too much.
Yeah, and so M5's team is just way too strong right now for Venatus to deal with. They are going to be able to pick this up pretty easily, I would think. We'll see. I mean, we do, have Tristana behind in farm once again. Doesn't have anywhere near as much damage as you would like. They have kind of a low damage team. If both Tristana and Karthus don't have, the follow-up, then they don't really have enough damage to deal with M5. And M5 has plenty of burst. They have Gragas, they have Corki, they have Warwick.
Yep.
So, not only are they tanky once again, but they win the burst exchanges. We could see, something of a split push from Shen, but the issue is that M5 is just so strong right now. They can force fights wherever they want to. They can push down towers and, just easily take advantages in this game.
Alex looking to buy the Glacial Shroud. You're going to see Ghost Super just buys an enormously large rod just to stack up on that AD. Did see Corki finish up on the Trinity Force, and still in the Nocturne. Got the Aegis, got the Heart of Gold, looking to just make the rest of the team a little more survivable and be a real contributing effort into those team fights as well. Get the ult follow-up, just get any straight errant kills you need. Genji can just go ahead and just take 2-3 auto attacks on the tower and take it out, but here comes Gosu Pepper over another kill. There comes the flash, and the ult immediately taking out Tristana. Jeez. And then not to mention Nocturne's here is like, Karthus wants to come. He wants to come in and help, but not going to be doing a whole lot there. The Shen ult will be there to protect, but Karthus actually still ridiculously close to going down in his own Diamond Procs. Now trying to focus onto Udyr, now taking the tower. Mope in a little bit of a bad situation, but all 5 members of M5 are here looking to get the kills they need. Shen, will you go down? Yes, you will. There goes Genja. And now you got the Udyr. You got the Alistar in a very bad spot. Just take out the tower, and then you can just go ahead and walk on backwards. Stun, fear, Alistar.
Longest fight ever, but M5 is easily able to pick it up. Alistar is going down. We will see Udyr go down as well. Alex Itch in hot pursuit, and so he will be able to pick up that kill.
Stun, Q. Yep. There you go.
And M5 is just they have so much burst damage, so much CC, so much tankiness, everything
much
about their
farm.
team,
So much
farm. Everything about their team is just superior right now, and
Yep.
so they're easily able to pick up these kills, 16-0. They realized maybe the last game there were some things that they let the game get out of hand a little bit early, and so they didn't want that to happen again. Tristana going to go down pretty easily there. Gosu Pepper just casually using the ultimate, not even like body slamming or anything. He's just kind of walking by, doesn't even care.
Yeah.
But I think M5 after the last game they were like, that was a little bit closer than we expected. So just putting on the pressure this one and very easily able to pick this up.
Yeah, after game 1, M5 was just a little bit like, okay, you know what? Now we left the easy mode switch on. Let's turn that thing off. Let's go, and let's just get serious. Let's get the farm up, and that's really a lot of difference between new teams and new teams and old teams.
Oh, we have the surrender. That had to have been a surrender. I was going to say, there's no way that Nocturne is just going off by his own. So we have the quick win for M5. Really nice job. And
yep, M5 picking up the series and a flawless victory at that. 0-17. Good work. M5 will be moving on to the round of 16.
And it was nice play by Venatus. I think they were just outpicked a little bit, and the big issue is bot lane falling behind so quickly.
And mid.
No, and mid, but mid kept up the farm at least, and so Gragas getting the huge farm advantage just because he's Gragas, getting 230 CS in that game. But even so, Tristana not getting quite the damage that they needed. Genja's just so abusive in that bottom lane, has plenty of harass damage. Same thing with the Urgot of the previous game. And so it would have been nice to see something like Graves. Graves versus Corki is a pretty even matchup, but really just, I don't know, just uncomfortable in that lane. And you could see it very early on, Tristana scared of Genja, really, and wasn't able to get the damage that he needed.
But Tristana, she's not a very commonly picked AD for a reason. And she does great with certain team comps, and against certain ADs where the extended range later on really becomes a great boon. But Corki's got way too much burst, and the combo with the Taric, you get the stun, you have all the armor shred. There wasn't really a whole lot Tristana could do in that bot lane. Yeah, there really wasn't. But
it's tough. It was Tristana and Alistar. It's an aggressive lane, but you can't play aggressively against Corki and Taric because they're going to win.
They're going to be more aggressive. So they're way more aggressive than you could ever be. So, and it's unfortunate, but sometimes it happens, and M5 going to go ahead and move on. So do stick around later on today, 5 p.m. Pacific, so in about 4 hours here. We're going to have the NA qualifiers, Curse versus Pure. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that, and then come on back next Tuesday, next week. We're going to start out the EU. We're going to have Acer and WinFact in the morning for the EU, and then Dignitas Dirt Nap in the afternoon. So next week, kicking off the round of 16 right. I've heard things of Acer. I'm good.
Acer's definitely a top team. That'll definitely be a fun match to watch.
It's going to be good, and we hope that you can go ahead and join us this afternoon and join us once again next week. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for spending your night with us, spending your afternoon with us, wherever you may be in the world. And hey, as always, it's a joy to have you here on the IPL stream. Remember, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, IGN Pro League. Follow us on YouTube, IPLLL. And as always, send us your tops, send us your flops. We want your replays, IPLLreplays@gmail.com. And I think with that, we're pretty much done for right now. So
yeah, we are good. We'll throw up a rebroadcast for you guys. Definitely a fun match, an interesting match, particularly game number 1, which, as it turned out, could have been a 2-0 for Venatus if they almost pulled it off. But regardless, M5 easily just such a strong team. They they know that they have the advantage there. Both games having a really strong late game team, having a similar comp. Both games having a tanky jungle and top lane for the initiation, and you have them initiate when the enemy team is all grouped around these tanky characters. You have the follow-up with either Annie or with Gragas this game. So the quick burst and definitely working out for them.
Yep. Thanks for sticking around, guys, and we will see you next time. Hope you can stick around later this afternoon as well for Curse Pure in the NA qualifiers. But until then, we are going to see you next time. Good night.